Welcome to the Fill Your Cups podcast. We're your hosts,
Morgan
and Bailey.
Hey guys, we have a fun podcast update episode for you
Woo!
today. We're really excited to get into it, but no spoilers yet. So first, we're going to share what's filling our cups.
Yes, we have champagne. Woohoo! Clink. Oh my gosh, and Edward.
And Edward came in. He's so
my
excited.
co-host.
Yes, Edward loves when Bailey's here.
Yes.
He gets so excited.
And it's been so long, especially
Yes.
since I've been able to come over without Mila and like actually give him attention.
Yeah, so
I'm
true.
Like, hi, buddy.
He probably heard us go, welcome to the Fill Your Cups podcast.
gosh,
and he
he
said,
did.
wait a second, not
I'm
on
supposed
me.
to be in there. That's fine.
That's so yeah.
okay.
Today we have champagne.
Yeah, clink. Woo. And of course, my water.
Yeah, always gotta have the
Always.
too. Yeah, so we have some Prosecco today because we are really celebrating is how I think of the episode. So hopefully that's how you think of it too.
I do.
And then, I guess we didn't really talk about a shout out.
No.
Do we
I guess
do
a
you wanna
shout
do-
out. Well, I could give a shout out to my co-host Morgan, who I'm gonna cry so much on this episode. I don't know. You've just done a really great job with everything, and I love you, and I'm just very happy to have done this with you through this whole time.
Me too.
So.
Me too. Thank you.
So shout out to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm gonna give Bailey a second. But Bailey's gonna update us because we're taking a bit of a turn. If you guys have been listening, you know that she's been on podcast maternity leave is what I've been calling it.
Yes. I know. Every time I watch the episode, you're like, Bailey's on podcast maternity leave. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, she's not getting paid for that or anything, by the way. So
There's no FMLA involved.
yeah, unfortunately, when I say podcast maternity leave, I'm not able to give her anything for that. Besides, I bring her meals and coffee every once in a while.
Which is a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, so that's your maternity leave plan from
Yes.
Fill Your Cups podcast.
Yes.
Thank
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. But Bailey does have an update for us today. So we're moving into new things, both of us. So it's exciting. So I'm just going to let you go because honestly, we haven't like talked that much about it.
No,
Even,
not super in depth.
Yeah, even just us two. So that we always like keeping it real with you guys on the podcast. And so we're literally doing that. This is it's not the first conversation we've had about it, but the first like in-depth conversation that we've had.
Yeah, we've not had time.
Yes.
It goes crazy.
Yeah,
well,
you've been busy and I've been busy. So
I know.
Yes.
This is life, man. Well, my big update is that I am taking a step back from the podcast and will be leaving it to just Morgan, I guess. So I am stepping away from it just because my life as a mom has pretty much taken over, and it's pretty much, with lack of better words, all I care about and all I want to do. And I just think that continuing to be on the podcast would have been like a disservice to Morgan and to you guys if just my heart wasn't going to be in it. And it would have just felt like something I had to do rather than something I wanted to do. And this has always been something I wanted to do. So that's my big update, is that I'm stepping away. And so I'm very sad about it, obviously, but also I think that it really is right for me, no matter how sad about it I am.
Yeah. And we were talking a little bit about it today. Even today, it was like a lot to coordinate.
Yeah.
Getting together.
Oh my
whatnot.
gosh. Yeah. We were like, okay, I'll come over around 2 because that's when she takes a nap. And then I'm like, actually, she woke up from her other nap later. So I'm going to be there a little bit later. And we had to, she ate a little bit longer. So I'm going to be there at this time. And I didn't have any makeup on and was in sweatpants. And I was like, okay, I also have to get ready and then I'll be there. And I was just thinking to myself, like, oh my goodness, if I was back at work, plus had Mila, plus had my house to take care of, plus my husband to be with, and the podcast, I was like, I just think that's way too much for me. So even today, I was like, I'm really glad I made the call to step away. But then I get here and I'm like, I am so sad about it. But it is, it's 100% the right thing for me, especially at this time.
Yeah. And sometimes, so I did an episode last week, and spoiler, I knew that Bailey was leaving the podcast, but the episode was about starting over. and just like signs that it's time to start over. And some of the signs were like, when you think about losing that thing, do you feel more relief? Like, does it feel like, oh God, that's a weight off my shoulders? Or does it feel like really upset? Like, obviously there's going to be some upset, and you're upset right now a little bit and sad about it. But also, I mean, I have to assume, you haven't said this, but I have to assume that when you think about not having editing and not having recording and not arranging when to meet and not doing social media part of it and all of that, I have to imagine that when you think about that, that's part of why it's feels like more of a relief because of just because that's all this mental energy that's going toward this instead of Mila. And
I had told you when we first talked about it, because it's not that I don't have the time. That's not what it is. It's more that I don't want to make the time for it. And when I realized that, I was like, oh yeah, there's no way I can keep doing it. Like the fact that I'm telling myself like, just not something I would choose to put my time towards anymore because I would choose so many other things. And most of that being Mila and being at home with her. And like, I would love to spend every moment she's awake with her. Like I spend with her. And so, yeah, once I realized that, I was like, okay, yeah. And I couldn't even lie to myself and say, I just don't have the time. It was that I just didn't even want to make the time for it. And I felt like that was the biggest sign for me.
Yeah, and I think that there's something to be said for when you are interested in something versus invested in something. And like, I feel like for a while you've been like, yeah, that's, being a part of the podcast is that interests me.
It's fun.
Yeah, the idea is nice, but in reality, I'm like not invested in that. So it doesn't make sense to keep pretending that I'm invested in that if I'm not.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. And I think that could apply to lots of things in life. So hopefully people listening to this, maybe it's like a call out for something else that they should be quitting or starting over.
Yeah,
or
this is your sign to walk away.
Yeah, yeah.
No matter how hard it is.
Yeah, or like I said, if it's something that you don't feel more relief than you feel sad feelings over or whatever you think about losing it, then maybe that means that there's something else that needs to happen. But
yeah,
I think that it's important that we're like honest about where we're at.
Yeah.
Because also this podcast has been called the Fill Your Cups podcast for this long. And we're all about what's filling your cups and not what's draining them. And
yeah,
it sounds like it'd be like a drain on your time, like really valuable time and energy that you have right now.
Yes.
And that you won't get back later.
Yeah.
So I don't know. One thing that Jared always says is that our time and our energy is the most valuable, wealthy resource that we have, like more so than money.
Yeah.
So you need to like savor it and be protective over it. So
yeah,
I think that's totally okay. And while I seem totally okay right now, I was sad when Bailey told me. And this is something I also want to mention. For me, I felt like I already kind of had a gut intuition even before, like you said, you were taking time off for maternity leave or whatever. Even before that, I had like this feeling that
it's kind of been a long time. I've said it so many times, but I've made the joke about how like, oh, this podcast wouldn't be a thing anymore if it wasn't for you. And I 100% meant that. Like I would have stopped doing it because it was just a fun little thing.
Yeah.
Like, and so if it was just up to me, I would have stopped a long time ago because I just don't have like the drive behind it. And I'd probably been more checked out, quote unquote, for a while, or like not as invested for a while. And I would say it like not all the way, but like, like it wouldn't have been a thing if it wasn't for you kind of thing.
Yeah. And just to say, like, I think that sometimes we can just trust our gut. Like things may have been easier if 12 weeks ago or however long ago I had been like, are you into this still? And that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe things would have felt different, or like you wouldn't have felt so much pressure of like not letting me down or something like that. But obviously, like in the moment, there's a lot of feelings. And if you like are feeling let down about something or disappointed about something, obviously like that can hurt a lot in the moment. But for me, I was really sad about it for like that night, like the night that you told me, got home, was really sad, talked to Jared about it. And then the next day I was like, well, okay, so here are my options. Like,
what can I do?
Yeah, and I guess there would be like more options than I even considered. Because one option is that I quit completely.
Mm-hmm.
This would be like a clean break point. Mm-hmm. So if I ever was thinking that I wanted to quit, then this would be like the opportunity to take that as a sign and go ahead and quit. I don't really want to do that. I really like doing the podcast, and I honestly like editing the episodes, and I like the things that go into it. Mm-hmm. So second option was like, okay, well, I can take what we've already built, and instead of quitting and starting over, I can just kind of start fresh or make it into something that's mine. And we even, like when we first started, just the same way that anytime you start something with someone else, you kind of combine ideas. And when we started, we had a couple different ideas. And for the most part, our ideas aligned. But I was like, actually, this is a chance for me to take some of the things that maybe didn't align. Like another joke we always make on the podcast, which maybe you guys need to be paying attention to the jokes that you make, because they're telling. Yeah, they could maybe give you some insights on where you're headed. But we always joke on the podcast that like you always like the bit of fun, more entertaining episodes, kind of like more current events. Yeah. Or, just more entertainment-y. Yeah. Episodes. And I really like the let's get deep or like how-tos and the really tactical ones, I guess. Yeah. And those are a lot of the ones that I listen to as well. So, whereas my podcasts are like the upbeat and the like fun episodes. Yeah. And so I still want to have a fun podcast. Mm-hmm. But when I think about it, I was like, when I started, I really wanted the Fill Your Cups podcast to be little things that you can implement into your everyday life that are small but make a huge impact. Yes. And I want to get more like back into that a little bit more. And I want them to be shorter, because I don't know about you, but I am the type of person that when I click on a podcast that's like an hour long or even sometimes 45 minutes, but especially like 2 hours long, sometimes it's a deterrent for me, because I'm like, that's so long and my commute to work is only 30 minutes. I'm always like, I don't have time for that. Exactly. So I like the idea of being able to kind of shorten the, I guess, investment time that you have to make in order to listen to the podcast or a podcast episode. So anyway, so that was my second option, obviously the one I'm going with. And then I didn't even think about this option. Third option was I could like just be really mad at you or whatever. Oh God. Like, and not, I don't know. Yeah. But when I was talking about this with Julia, one of our sisters, and she asked me like a real vulnerable question about like, well, do you think it's going to affect your relationship with Bailey? Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I don't think so, because it only would if I let it. Like we are very in control of how we receive news. And even if it's really upsetting news, the way you respond is up to you. Like I said, like in the moment I was upset, I cried, shocker. And you're upset, but you weren't mean, you weren't angry. Like I felt like it I don't know, like it was a very scary thing to have to say, but it would have been a lot worse had you yelled or had you like put me down or said that I was like really disappointing you or anything like that. So I don't know, I think that says a lot for the control of response. Thank you. Yeah. And I don't think it's always that easy. And I think in the moment I even said like, I don't really know what to say. Yeah. Because I think that sometimes your gut impulse is like, oh, I want to be mean or I want to say something negative or something like snarky that. And and I like didn't really know how to respond in the moment. But then the next day, again, I was feeling very much like, well, I can choose where to go from here. Like ball's in my court. So I get to decide. And honestly, like, yes, I was very upset the day before, but then I was like, that's actually a really empowering feeling. I actually get to like, I get to do whatever I want. Yeah. And so for me, I felt really, it was like upsetting, but it was also exciting. And I feel like that's something that listeners could take away too, is that sometimes there's like, it could be an obstacle or it could be an opportunity. That's not always as obvious as in this case, But it's not necessarily just going to be like, oh yeah, it's so easy to just change everything or do it all myself or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's all about mindset, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's kind of where like I was at with it.
Yeah.
I also think there's something to be said for you kind of having like the bravery or like the courage to move forward in that, because we stay stuck, I think, a lot of the time in things out of obligation.
Yeah, I was telling Mason, because obviously you don't come to a decision like that overnight kind of thing. So it was something I had been pondering. It was something that I was like, I don't know if this is the right choice for me or not. Like, for a couple weeks, I was like, maybe I'll get over it. Like, once she was born, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't want to do it anymore. But I was like, okay, but maybe once it's like a little less hard with her, maybe I'll be fine going back. And then it just got to a point where I was like, no, like, I just don't think that that's what I want anymore. And that's why I was saying earlier, when I realized that it wasn't that I couldn't make the time, but that I didn't want to make the time, that I was like, okay, that's like pretty serious. But when I had been talking to Mason about it, and the night that I told you, because obviously like I'd been pondering for a couple of weeks, when I got home, because it was just like the worst timing. Jared wasn't home. It was late at night. It was a freaking Monday. I think he was going to be gone all week.
Grandma called us in the middle of you
telling me. Grandma called us in the middle of it. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I was like, I have to do it now because I won't have any other alone time with her until next week when she's asked me if I wanted to come back for the episode. I'm like, I have to do it tonight. And once I had told you and everything, and then went back inside, I told Mason, I was like, listen, even though this was like a really hard thing to do, I kept putting it off when I should have done it several weeks earlier. And I was like, so that is a learning lesson for me of just because it's really hard and like I don't want to do it, like you still had to do it. And I made it harder because I had no more time. Time was out. And so I was like, well, I'll be taking that as a learning lesson that you can't wait up until the last minute anymore because it's not going to be good for you and it's not good for them either. Like, I was like, that was really just bad for everyone involved. Or like it just could have been so much better. You could have so much more time, and I wouldn't have had to tell you on 8 p.m. on a Monday night when Jared's not here. And oh my gosh. So I'm taking that away for sure as a learning lesson.
Yeah, it wasn't great timing. I'll admit that.
No, it was very shitty timing.
But yeah, that's okay. And I am glad that you'll take that away because I do feel like those are learning moments, and we're all doing life for the first time. So we're all figuring out how to like let people down and how to go about conversations like that. And
the only things I've quit before are jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the employers.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you've never quit on your podcast co-host before.
So. I've never quit on my sister before.
So we're all doing this for the first time. So so the timing wasn't great, but I do, and I like that you, like, that's something that you're going to move away with, like move forward with. And so I don't know, sometimes like even when we do something that we're like, we didn't do that the right way, we always say like, you don't learn from your past, you learn from reflecting on your past. So it's good to think about that and not just be like, oh, well, that was bad. And then move on and like barrel into something again in the future and do the exact same thing 5 years down the road. Probably not with a podcast co-host, but probably with something else,
Yeah.
So
I mean, it kind of reminded me of like, I wait till last minute whenever I ask for PTO and things like that. And like, that's never better for me because I'm anxious up to the point. It's never better for my employer because it takes them, or like they don't have as much time to prepare kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this was the real, like, this is one of the only times it's like really mattered to me as well of like quitting on someone, I guess. And I was like, okay, will not be going about it in the same way that I did.
Yeah. That's a really good example. Before we talk about I start talking about what I envision going forward, do you want to tell them anything else about like your decision or feelings about it or anything?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
I guess the only other thing that I would have said is that it kind of reminded me of our episode about like when to know it's time to quit your job.
Oh, yeah.
I almost listened to that episode to be like, are there some things that like is pretty shining out to me? And I had just felt like it was. And so I just thought that was funny that I was like, oh, I could go back and listen to one of our episodes because it's like a helpful episode. But no, some of the only other things I'll say is during my maternity leave, I have loved watching them on YouTube. I had never really watched or listened to them before because I was like, I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
I know what our episode's about.
Yeah.
But
and especially when you edit it, you listen to it twice, basically.
Exactly. So I was like, I don't need to, but like obviously I have downloads on and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it has been really fun to watch it at home on YouTube, like while I'm doing laundry or like while I'm feeding Mila and things like that. So I really enjoyed that. Do you think you'll still upload to YouTube?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, hell yeah.
Honestly, it might make social media even easier because if you guys watch on YouTube, obviously it posts that normal like wide screen version.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking recently, see, this is again, I swear I don't know, I feel like I'm giving very toxic positivity vibes, but more so I went through the negative parts in my brain and like just like process through that. And then I was like, okay, but now I don't want to sit there. I want to like move on.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's toxic positivity. I think that's like rewriting how you feel about it or like
so
just making it better.
Yeah. So with the YouTube thing, I was like, oh, it'll be really nice because now with only one person, it's a lot easier to like squeeze our frame into a story or like a reel template.
Yes. Instead of like putting stuff behind it and being like, oh, one of us is off-centered.
I was like, actually, I think that might make that easier because I'm only one person. And like, I'm pretty sure that this part, if you're watching on YouTube where I'm like drawing my line, I'm pretty sure that's like a story size.
Yeah.
Basically.
100%.
So I was like, that'll make it a little bit easier, you know?
You're not wrong.
But yeah, so I'll definitely still upload to YouTube and I'll definitely obviously be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and want people to listen and watch in those places. And I will still be at the same, it'll essentially still be like the same link or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like if you have one of our magnets from our 1 year birthday or whatever, like the QR code will still take you there. All of that, our links in like the link tree on our Instagram, that'll still take you there, all of that. But I am planning to change the name. I'm not going to say it right now because I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to be, but I'm still deliberating. But obviously when you listen to this, so this will come out Monday, November 17th. So if you're listening into this in real time, then next week, Monday, November 24th will be the first episode of that podcast. So it'll still be, I'm literally just going to change. Fun fact for you, if you're ever interested in podcasting, it's actually really easy once you've set up with like a hosting service and like a hosting platform, which we use Buzzsprout, but you can change the name and not lose like all your subscribers and all that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
like a quick edit.
Yeah, it's like a rebrand.
Yeah.
So, and now's the time for me to do that. You know, it's kind of like a clean break. I can rebrand and really start fresh. So I will have a new trailer. And then I'll have a new episode up on the 24th.
Oh my gosh.
And I'll have my new name and everything. And then I will also change the handle on Instagram and on, YouTube and everywhere that we are. And then the only thing that will be different, a few things will be different. So one, I really want it to be like a high vibe mindset podcast where you tune in for whatever it is, 15 to 25 minutes. And when you tune in, you leave and you feel either ready to take the next step and whatever the thing is that you are wanting to do, or you just have a little kick in your pants to go do whatever the thing is. It could be laundry. It could be quitting your job. Like it could be major. It could be minor, whatever. Or that you just leave with like an energy boost, some kind of takeaway, something that you leave the podcast and you feel just a little bit, just a teensy bit more amped up. And the brunt of it will be me like sharing something real that happened in the last week, like maybe a quick story and then what we can take from that. Honestly, like today's episode I feel like there's like 3 or 4 things that already could be like that we've talked about, like turning obstacles into opportunities or learning from kind of doing something not the best way or, things like that. So that's my goal for the podcast is to be really mindset focused and really help people move forward and not sit in the negative feelings like I was talking about that I had whenever you first told me about the update. Like, I know that I know that it's not as easy for everybody to just 180 and turn.
Yeah.
But a lot of that has been like mindset work and personal development work that I've been doing for like 6+ years.
Yes.
So that's something that I feel like is really helpful when I share with other people, and something that honestly people seek my advice on. And so that's why I feel really drawn to do that. And so that is what the podcast will be like. That's the vibe that it'll give. And then the only other different thing that will be is that I'm not going to continue our bonus book club episodes on this podcast, but our book club is called Shared Shelves. And I got approval from our girl, Lindsay, who runs our Shared Shelves Instagram. Yeah. To go ahead and just make that its own podcast.
Oh my God.
Which, again, if you're into podcasting, if you already pay for the podcast editor software or the podcast hosting website, like it's barely any additional because we pay by time pretty much.
Yes.
It's not very expensive to kind of just add on.
Yeah.
So that's my plan, is to have my podcast, which the name will be to be determined.
Yeah.
And then the Shared Shelves Book Club podcast.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for what you're doing with it.
Yeah, and the good thing about that is that in the future, if you ever get nostalgic and you just want to do a one-off, then you could be on a book club episode.
Come back.
Yeah.
Back to that old stomping ground.
Exactly, yeah.
I love it.
So we'll still have people from book club rotating in and out. And the reason I really like the book club episodes too, and I don't want to dismiss them because I don't think they quite mesh with the vibe I want for the podcast.
I would agree.
But I still want to keep doing them because, one, they do still fill my cup.
Yes.
And then two, I do love, specifically on YouTube, people watch those episodes and comment.
I know.
And I feel like the book reading culture right now is
it's so big.
It's so big.
Yeah.
That I just think it's fun to be part of still.
Yeah.
So I still want to be a part of it, but I don't think it quite aligns with what I'm wanting for the next podcast. So two things can be true. Let's do both. You know?
Yes.
So that is my plan going forward. Hopefully you didn't already unsubscribe from this podcast. Just kidding. But if you aren't subscribed yet, you should, because we will have a lot of fun stuff coming soon.
Yes.
It'll just be me and not Bailey.
I know. That's crazy. I think some of my final thoughts is that, one, as I think about the podcast, I am so happy that I did it and that we took the big step together. And I think that all of it was so fun. And if I had gotten to this point now and we had never started the podcast a year and a half ago, I'd be sad that we didn't. And I would have felt like the time was missed, and that I felt like it was a missed opportunity.
Like, what if?
Yeah, like, oh man, we didn't ever do that. What would it have been like? So I'm really, really happy that we did do it, and that it was so fun while we were doing it. And kind of like it was fun while it lasted kind of thing. So I want to say that I am very happy that I did it. And when I look back on it, I'm really, really glad about it. And I think that it's a great moment of like my life that I'll be like, oh yeah, I did a podcast like for a while. That was pretty cool with my sister. Like that was really fun. And then I just want to say thank you to everyone who is such a supporter and will continue to be, and that you guys made it really fun too, and always made me feel like what I had to say was really important, which is, it's fun because not everyone in your immediate life can make you feel like that. So it was really cool to do and to feel like I had friends like in every point of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Listening in and
I think that even if like when I think about all the episodes, like at the beginning I say like I had no friends and blah, 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 blah. And towards the end of the episode, I'm like, I have so many friends. And like, especially because I just turned 27. And when I look at the year 27, I was telling Mason and you and everybody that I want to be a good and happy and content mom and wife and an involved friend. And I was like, at the beginning of the year last year, I wouldn't have said
anything about friendship.
No. And I think it's a really cool thing because through this podcast, I feel like I've gotten so many friends. So yeah, I don't know. Those are just my closing thoughts about it.
Yeah, it's really cool when you guys reach out and you're like, oh, I totally get what you mean by this, or I totally resonate with what you said about this. And, or even sometimes it's like, I'll be talking with someone and they'll mention something and I think, I didn't tell them that. And then I remember that it was on the podcast. Yeah. So it is a really cool connection point with people. And I'm glad that you don't like regret it. Do you have any regrets about it?
Not a single one.
I love
not
that.
A single regret at all.
That. Mm-hmm. So sometimes things are just for a season, and that's okay.
Yes.
And I think that's what Fill Your Cup podcast has been all about. Is yeah, but I mean, we do it that is one thing that I'm actually really sad about, but at the end of the month, every month I make those recap videos.
I know.
And I was like, wait, I'm not going to have like a personal invitation to like see what they're doing in the month, because I watch those videos and that's part of why they make me emotional.
Yeah.
Because I feel like points of time in your life in the past month that I wasn't part of, I get to have like a little sneak preview.
You're like, oh, this is what she's doing?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But that point being that when we talk about like reflecting on your month and seeing what filled your cup and implementing more of those things and taking out more of those things that don't, this is just one example of that. So, yeah. And honestly, it's an example on both ends, because it's like, it does fill my cup and it doesn't fill yours right now, and that's okay. Yeah. So I feel like we move forward with that information. Yeah.
Oh, I feel good about it. I feel happy.
Good.
But also very bittersweet.
Yeah.
It's very bittersweet.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes, I don't know, I talked about this on last week's episode too, like when I left my chamber job, that I loved my team so much, and I loved, like, there were so many things I loved about it, but it was not a time to stay. It was time to leave. Yeah. And it was immense relief once I got past that point. So yeah. I'm sure that even though it is sad, like, I'm sure that you'll have some feelings of that.
I will.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
good timing, Eder.
All right. Well, without further ado, we hope you love this episode. Please let us know your thoughts. Please like, comment, subscribe, all those things. Share with a friend. Maybe there's a few little quotes we said in here that could help somebody else who needs to like quit something or needs to double down and move forward with something that's really lights them up. Yeah. Either way, we appreciate you listening in, and more things to come.
Yes. Cheers.